Hello, this is Amanda Cleland, and in marketing today, we are going to be talking about Chapter 11 retailing. So let's get started with retailing. So we all know that stores like Costco, like Home Depot, Macy's, Trader Joe's, a lot of these very like brick and mortar types of companies are retailers. But so are companies like Amazon.com, the Hampton Inn, and doctors seeing patients. There's a lot of different institutions that do retailing. There's manufacturers, there's wholesalers, there's retailers. So, what exactly is retailing? So, here's the definition from our book. Retailing. This includes all the activities involved in selling goods or services directly to final consumers for their personal use. So, final consumers don't resell. If you are a final consumer, you are going to be using that product and you are not going to be reselling it. And retailing, this includes both the physical brick and mortar stores where you can actually walk in and look at things and there's a physical presence. And it also includes online stores as well, where you would just go online and you would never actually set foot inside of any of these locations. So retail includes both brick and mortar and online. And what a retailer is. So, a retailer is a business whose sales come primarily from retailing. And most retailing is done by retailers. This makes sense, right? Retailing plays a very, very important role in most marketing channels. And retailers account for more than $5 trillion of sales to final consumers. So, this is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk all about retailing and primarily about retailers, businesses whose sales come primarily from retailing. So, before we get started more on what retailing and retailers, talking about those, but let's talk about which companies, who are the largest retailers in the United States? Think about the companies that are selling the most goods and services to final consumers. Who are the biggest companies? And this is based on 2022 numbers. So let's go through this and we're going to count down from 10 to 1. So start thinking in your head, who are going to be the big companies that we're going to see on this list as being the largest retailers in the US? And again, this is going to be based on 2022 figures. So number 10 is Albertsons. So in 2022, they saw $71.87 billion worth of sales. And Albertsons is the second largest supermarket chain in North America. And they actually merged with Safeway for $9.2 billion in 2015. So they're coming in at number 10. They're going to be our number 10 biggest retailer in the United States. And all the companies that fall under the Albertson umbrella, there's many, doesn't necessarily have to be an Albertson store. Safeway, Vons, Jewel Osco, Randall's, Star Market. There's a lot of different companies that fall under the Albertsons model. So food, this is what Albertsons sell. They sell food products. They're a grocery store, a supermarket. So this is an example of our number 10. So let's move on with number 9. Number 9 is Lowe's. So Lowe's, this is a store where you would buy building materials, where you would buy home improvement types of things. Lowe's come in at number 9 in terms of the largest retailers in the United States based on 2022 figures. They had total sales of $87.73 billion in 2022 with Lowe's. And again, a lot of these companies that you're going to see on this list are probably companies that you go to, that you buy from, or your families buy from. Number 8. Number 8 is CVS. So they come in at 93.36 billion, and they are actually the largest pharmacy chain in the United States, coming in at number 8. And again, this is where you would go to pick up any sort of prescription drugs and also just odds and ends that you would buy from a drugstore, CVS, and coming in at number 8. Now we've got number 7 is Target. We all know Target. They are headquartered in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they had annual sales of 104.62 billion in 2022, and they are our number 7. Now, another thing I want you to think about is usually when I'm counting down these stores, a lot of these are brick and mortar stores, but a lot of Target's business actually comes from their online sales. So this doesn't just include when you walk into a physical Target store, this also includes anything that you buy online. And this doesn't just apply to Target specifically, but it applies to all of these different companies that we're going to see on this list. So number 6 is Walgreens. Walgreens is actually the second largest pharmacy chain in the United States after CVS, who we already saw on this list. And in 2010, Walgreens acquired another competitor, Duane Reade. So that has pushed them where they are now the largest, larger than CVS, and they are headquartered in a Chicago suburb of Deerfield. So we've got Walgreens coming in at number 6 with annual sales in 2022 of $108.34 billion. Number 5, we've got another grocery store, another supermarket. So Kroger comes in at number 5 with annual sales of 136.49 billion. And again, very similar to Albertsons, which was number 10 on our list, that this includes a lot of other stores that are included under the Kroger umbrella. This includes Ralph's, this includes King Soopers, this includes QFC, City Market, Mariano's, Fred Meyer. There's a lot of other types of grocery stores that fall under the Kroger umbrella. And on October 14th, 2022, so not too long ago, about a year ago, Kroger announced it would be acquiring its competitor Albertsons, who we saw on this list at number 10. They're going to be acquiring them for $25 billion. And this is actually having to go through some antitrust laws because the number 1 and the number 2 largest supermarkets in the United States are merging, and there are concerns that this would cause a monopoly. So this is still underway, but we've got number 5 is Kroger on this list. Number 4 is Home Depot, another very similar to Lowe's. This is home improvement types of things. My brother actually works at Home Depot. And again, this includes everything that you would buy in their brick and mortar store and also anything you would buy online from Home Depot. So they had annual sales in 2022 of $140.06 billion. Okay, now number 3 is Costco. And you see here on Costco, I've got their legendary and very famous roasted chickens on here. For any of you who've been to Costco, you know that they are $5 and they're located at the back of the store. So you've got to walk through everything to go get them. And Costco comes in at number 3 with 140.41 billion in annual sales in 2022 is Costco. And the unique thing about Costco is you have to actually buy a membership to shop here. So it's not like a lot of the other stores that we've seen on here. You actually have to be a member to actually shop here. So number 2 is Amazon. Amazon comes in, and as you know, Amazon is primarily an online store. They do have some brick and mortar presences, but very, very small. Amazon had annual sales in 2022 of 217.79 billion in the United States. And there's one more we have left, and I want you to take a guess of who number 1 in terms of the largest retailer in the United States is. And you are probably correct in your assumption. It is Walmart. So our number 1 biggest retailer in the United States is Walmart. And Walmart also includes anything that is purchased from Sam's Club as well. That falls under the Walmart umbrella. And again, just like all the other stores, it also includes anything you buy online from Walmart.com. So Walmart is the largest retailer by far in the United States. And here's just a look at all of those numbers and all of these companies up against each other. And you see, look at that Walmart number. It is over 2 times as big as the next largest, which is Amazon.com. So this just gives you a gauge of the biggest retailers in the US. And again, these are probably companies that we are all buying from. I have to admit, in the last couple days, I have bought from both Walmart and Amazon. Just within the last couple days. So I am part of their customer base. Okay, so let's talk about the shifting retail model that's happening right now. So with the advent of the digital age, with the invention of the internet and widespread use of it, with e-commerce, consumers are increasingly starting and sometimes ending their buying process online. So your purchases often consist of first researching a product online and buying it from an online retailer without ever even setting foot in a retail store. 30, 40, 50 years ago, this was impossible. If you wanted to look at a product, you probably had to go into a brick and mortar store. If you wanted to buy a product, odds are you would have to go into a brick and mortar store. And although 90% of purchases are actually still made in stores today, mobile devices, internet research drives more than half of all retail sales. So you doing research on your phone, seeing something advertised on social media, this is driving more than half of all retail sales, even though still a lot of our purchases are done in brick and mortar stores. The internet, the digital age is really changing how we buy. And at the same time, e-commerce, online shopping is continuing to grow. We saw a huge surge in e-commerce and online shopping during the pandemic when stores were shut down, when we were all trapped in our houses and we had nothing to do. A lot of people turned to online shopping who may have never really bought online before, or they didn't buy much from online. So this just shows you, and these numbers only go to 2021. This just shows you the growth of e-commerce, what people buying online in terms of billions of dollars each year. So if we look back to 2012, we were spending in the United States about $231 billion per year in e-commerce and online sales. This is almost quadrupled in 2021. We spent $960 billion in 2021. So you just see the increase. And I don't foresee these numbers starting to decrease. We like the convenience, we like the ease of buying online. That is more becoming part of how we buy. So it's changing. The digital age, e-commerce, this is changing how we buy. So why is that important to us as marketers? So these big dramatic shifts in buying, moving from brick and mortar to more online, are causing a massive upheaval in the retailing industry. The increased online buying means there's less need for physical stores and shopping malls. As Amazon and these other big online merchants have boomed, traditional store retailers have really struggled. We've seen these deteriorating malls where stores don't want to be there, and these huge mall structures are sitting there rotting. You're probably seeing tons of going out of business stores, of brick and mortar stores. This is very, very common because of the shifting retail model that's happening right now. And retail bankruptcies and store closings have really soared to record levels in recent years. Some analysts are calling this the retail apocalypse. And you see down at the bottom, I've got a picture of, we'll say, a zombie apocalypse of Jeff Bezos, former CEO of Amazon.com, who essentially we could say is one of the big driving forces behind this retail apocalypse. So big, huge stars in terms of retailing. that in previous decades were the juggernauts in retailers. So Sears, J.C. Penney, Kohl's, the Limited, all these different retailers have closed and shuttered a ton of their stores because their sales are stagnating. Their profits are shrinking, even as overall retail spending grows. We as Americans are spending more and more, but yet these stores are not seeing that money. And retail giants like Walmart, like Target, even Best Buy, they're scrambling to adapt to the new challenges posed by today's very connected customers. So Walmart, Target, Best Buy, they're really setting up more of an online presence, ensuring that they can find everything that they want online as well. They're having to change how they do business. They can't depend solely on brick and mortar anymore. And retail stores, they really come in all different shapes and sizes. The most important types of retail stores that we're going to talk about are specialty stores, department stores, supermarkets, convenience stores, superstores, service retailers, discount stores, and off-price retailers. So let's go through what each of these different types of retail stores entail and kind of a general description of each of them. And retail stores can also be classified by several characteristics, including the amount of service that they offer customers, the product line and the breadth and depth that that product line has, the relative prices that they charge, and kind of their organizational approach as well. So again, we can classify our retail stores by these different types of characteristics. So different types of customers and products require different types and levels of services. So to meet these varying service needs, retailers can offer one of three different service levels. They could be a self-service store, they could be a limited service store, or they could be a full service store. So let's go through these. So self-service retailers, these are usually the kind of stores that you and I probably frequent and buy from. These serve customers who these customers are willing to perform their own locate, compare, select process to save time or money. We don't want anyone doing that on our behalf. We don't want to pay any extra. We're just going to do it all ourselves. We're going to find the product, we're going to compare the product, and we're going to select the product that we want. We're going to do it all on our own. No one is going to assist us during this buying process with a self-service retailer. So think about when you fill up your car with gas, if you've got a combustible gas engine. Now, if you're an EV, I can't help you there. But you probably, if you live anywhere except for Oregon and New Jersey, you are going to do self-service. You are going to do it all yourself. This is the same way with all self-service. So self-service is really the basis for all types of discount operation and is typically used by retailers selling convenience goods, especially like supermarkets. This is where you are going to do everything yourself. And again, most of the time, this is where most of us are shopping at, is self-service retailers. No one is going to assist us during the buying process. We're probably only going to interact with a human being during the checkout process. And then we've got our limited service retailers. They provide a little bit more sales assistance, and this could be because they carry more types of goods or customers need more information. So limited service includes explaining and helping you with your decision and your purchase. So they're going to assist a little bit. Excuse me. Small electronic stores are an example of a limited service retailer. The employee is going to pay really specific direct attention to the customer, and they're going to assist with the purchase. And the thing with limited service retailers is usually this is going to result in higher prices because they've got more services and their employees are assisting you more with the purchase and the experience, this is going to account for increased operating costs, which again is usually going to be passed off to the consumer in slightly higher prices. So this is where you're going to have a little bit more sales assistance. This is limited service retailers. And then we've got our full service retailers. These are like the very high end specialty stores. Think like Tiffany's for jewelry, Williams Sonoma for cooking products, or you've got really high end first class department stores. Think like Nordstrom, Neiman Marcus. They are going to assist customers in every phase of the shopping process. And full service stores usually carry more specialty goods for where customers are going to need or they're going to want assistance or some sort of advice from one of the employees that works there. They provide more services, which again, just like limited service, that's going to be passed on to the customer in higher prices because of the higher operating costs. So again, this is where an employee is going to help you with pretty much every phase of the shopping process. A great example of this is if you're going wedding dress shopping. So I'm sure many of you have never gone wedding dress shopping, but many of you probably will. And there is an employee that helps with every step of the process. You would go into a wedding dress store and you would tell them what you want, what your size is. They would help you with every step of the process. You would probably never be left alone in that store for a single second. This is an example of a full service retailer. They are going to assist you in every single phase of the shopping process. So full service retailer. And then we've got our product line. So retailers can also be classified by the length of the product assortment, which is the number of different product lines they have, and the breadth of their product assortment. And that's how many different products in each product line. So we've got breadth and length. So a specialty store carries a very narrow product line with a very deep assortment. So a lot of times you'll see clothing or apparel stores, sporting goods stores, furniture stores, florists, bookstores. They carry a very narrow product line. So for example, Sephora, all they carry is makeup and fragrances, but they have a very deep assortment of all types of different makeup, all types of different fragrances, any color you want, any style you want. They've got a very deep assortment of that very narrow product line of makeup. Sunglass Hut, again, narrow product line. They're only selling sunglasses. Maybe they sell regular glasses too, but a very narrow product line. But they have a deep assortment of all those different sunglasses. REI, they are a sporting goods store for like outdoor types of equipment. Again, very narrow product line, but they've got a deep assortment of all sorts of products. And today, specialty stores are really flourishing. The increasing use of market segmentation, we've got a lot more segmented markets. So market targeting and really product specialization has resulted in a greater need for focusing on specific products and segments. So specialty stores are really flourishing today. Customers like them. So again, specialty store carries a very narrow product line with a very deep assortment. Think of a bookstore. They only carry books. They've got a very deep assortment of those books. And then we've got a department store. So department stores carry a very wide variety of product lines, typically clothing. They'll have home furnishings. They'll have like household goods. And each different line is operated as a separate department, which is usually managed by a specialist buyer or merchandisers. So again, where the name department comes from is because they've got separate departments. So an example of some really big department stores, and during the golden age of the mall, these are typically the big kind of flagship stores that you would see in a mall. Think Macy's, think Sears, think Neiman Marcus, think Von Maur, think JCPenney. These are all examples of department stores. And again, the shift towards online buying, mobile buying has really hit department stores hard. This has caused a lot of our big major chains, Sears, J.C. Penney's, Dillard's, Macy's, to close a lot of their brick and mortar stores and really adapt their strategy. They're going to have to change what they're doing because it's not working. And most major chains have added direct and online selling, but they're really late to the game, and they still have a really long way to go to catch up with the Amazons of the retailing world and hopefully not get left behind. So department stores are really struggling right now and have really been hit hard by the changing way that we now buy. And then we've got a supermarket. So we all know supermarkets. They're usually very large, usually they're low cost. Again, that's relative. We all know inflation has hit the food market hard. Really low margin. So the manufacturers are not making huge amounts of money on every sale, and high volume self-service operation that's designed to serve a consumer's total need for groceries and household products. So anything that you need in terms of food, beverage, anything that you need from like a cleaning perspective, this is where you would find a supermarket. So think of Hy-Vee, think Kroger, think the Jewel, think Safeway. These are all examples of the supermarket. This is where you're going to buy all of your food products, a supermarket. And this is actually the most frequently visited type of retail store. Wherever you're getting your food, you're probably going there probably at least once a week. However, supermarkets are now facing slow sales growth. And this is due to a multitude of factors, the biggest one being slower population growth, especially in the United States. We're just not seeing an influx of people. So people aren't eating more. So there's really no growth in this market. And there's also increased competition from discounters like Walmart, like Costco, like Dollar General. A lot of people are getting their food from places like Walmart or Dollar General. And then they're also seeing increased competition from specialty food stores like Whole Foods Market or Trader Joe's or Aldi. These are examples that focus more perhaps on organic or perhaps healthier. So supermarkets are actually seeing a change in how we buy, and this is causing their growth to slow down. Also, they're seeing competition from online shopping options. So think where you can get your groceries online. So think Amazon Fresh, Blue Apron, HelloFresh. It's estimated that online grocery shopping is actually going to capture 20% of grocery retail in 2025. So in response to this, again, because we like buying online now, and that trend is only going to be increasing, a lot of supermarkets are trying to figure out how they're going to compete with that. So most supermarkets now have added online buying options. So you can do online ordering for home delivery, or you could do in-store pickup, or you're seeing a lot of curbside service. So where you would park your vehicle in the parking lot and they would deliver the food to you. So supermarkets are trying to catch up and trying to adapt to the changing ways we buy as well. And then we've got a convenience store. So these are usually relatively small stores, usually located near residential areas, and they're open extended hours or perhaps 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And they carry a very limited line of really high turnover convenience products at slightly higher prices. And a lot of times these are going to be located, co-located perhaps with gas stations. So some examples in the United States of convenience stores are 7-Eleven, Circle K, Speedways, Casey's. And remember, they have a limited line of very high turnover convenience products. So things that are going to go really quickly. Think like candy bars, think soda, things that go very, very quickly. And they're going to be a little bit higher priced than if you were to get them, say, in a grocery store. So slightly higher prices than you would see elsewhere. And again, the way we are buying is changing. So convenience stores have actually struggled. So they had several years of really stagnant sales due to fewer cigarette sales and rising gas prices. So we as a country used to smoke quite a bit, and people would spend a lot of money on cigarettes. And a lot of times you would go to the convenience store right down the street to buy your cigarettes, to buy your smokes. Well, guess what? People aren't smoking as much anymore. There's also been rising gas prices. Again, these are usually convenience stores are very commonly co-located with gas stations. But now these stores are now experiencing some growth. So they've changed the way that they're operating. So a lot of stores of convenience stores have expanded beyond their primary market of young blue collar men. This used to be the primary target demographic of convenience stores, young blue collar men. And they're designing their stores to attract more female shoppers, trying to make it more family friendly. So they're shedding their image of what we think of as like a truck stop, where only men, they go to buy gas, they go to buy beer, they go to buy cigarettes, they go to buy hot dogs. They're trying to change that. So now, and you've probably noticed this when you go into convenience stores, they offer freshly prepared foods, they offer fruits, they offer safer, cleaner, more upscale environments. So convenience stores are trying to change that image that they used to have to attract more customers, primarily female shoppers, try to make it more female friendly and family friendly. And then our superstores. So what a superstore is, this is a very large store that can meet a consumer's total needs for all of their routinely purchased food and also non-food items. It includes super centers, which are usually combined supermarket and discount stores. Think of a Walmart super center, a Super Target, a Meijer, where you can shop for everything that you need under the sun, including all of your groceries. I know that I typically do a lot of my shopping at a Walmart supercenter because it's so convenient that I can do everything in one place. So superstores are becoming very, very popular at this day and age. A superstore also includes things called category killers. So what a category killer is, these are giant specialty stores that carry a very, very deep assortment of a particular product line. So when I say category killer, I'm talking about your Best Buys, your Petco, your Staples, your Bed Bath and Beyond. They carry a very deep assortment of just one particular product line. So Best Buy, they really only carry electronics, but they carry a very deep assortment of electronics. Staples, they only carry office supplies, but they carry everything under the sun that would fall under office supplies. Petco, they only carry pet supplies, but it's a huge assortment of all sorts of different pet products. And category killers have really been putting smaller, highly specialized merchants out of business. And category killers can be found in a wide range of categories, including electronics, home improvement products, books, baby gear, toys, sporting goods, home goods, pet supplies. So these are our category killers, giant specialty stores that carry a very deep assortment of a particular product line. And again, they're called category killers because they have put all these smaller specialized merchandise out of business. They've essentially killed them. So these are category killers and they fall under the superstore umbrella. And then we've got our service retailers. We've talked extensively about services and about how the United States is moving to a more service-based economy and also the world as well. So for many retailers, the product line is actually a service. So service retailers include things like hotels, things like airlines, restaurants, colleges, hospitals, movie theaters, bowling alleys, hair salons, dry cleaners, nail salons, anything where you don't physically own a product at the end of that transaction and it is intangible is a service retailer. And service retailers in the United States are growing faster than product retailers. So we are spending more money with service retailers, and there's more service retailers opening than product retailers. Again, it makes sense. We're moving towards a more service-based economy. And retailers, they can also be classified according to the prices, the relative prices that they charge. So most retailers are going to charge standard regular pricing, and they're going to offer, normal quality goods, decent customer service. However, others are going to offer higher quality goods and services at higher prices. And then others at the other end of the spectrum are going to offer low prices and limited to no customer service. So again, we could classify them among the prices that they charge. So a discount store. This is a store that carries standard merchandise, and it's usually going to be sold at lower prices with lower margins and a lot of volume. So again, lower prices, lower margins, but really high volume. So think of Walmart, Target, Kohl's, Dollar General. They're going to carry really standard merchandise, and they're going to charge low prices, but really high volumes. And early discount stores really cut expenses by offering few services and operating in kind of like warehouse-like facilities in kind of like very low rent, heavily traveled areas. So I've got a couple pictures here of the first Walmart from Arkansas down at the bottom. This, again, we think of Walmart as like the big discount store. And again, they're the biggest retailer in the United States. So when Walmart opened their first store, it was essentially in a warehouse. However, today's discounters have really improved their store environments and increased their services, but they've still kept prices very low through lean and efficient operations. So the leading big box discounters, think of Walmart, think of Target, currently dominate the retail scene. And again, so our retailing atmosphere is really dominated by discount stores. And then we're also see small box discounters. So our small box discounters, so think Dollar Tree, think Dollar General, they're thriving in the current economic environment. So we know that we have been dealing with massive inflation recently, and now we've got really high interest rates. So dollar stores are now today's fastest growing retail format. So I read an article about how Dollar General is just launching stores like it's nobody's business within the last year. So in the past, dollar stores previously sold like really random assortments of novelties, like overruns, closeout, really outdated merchandise, but they've changed a lot. So stores like Dollar General, Dollar Tree make a really powerful value promise for the times. We're all dealing with rising prices, with inflation, with wages not keeping up with the cost of living. So a lot of people are turning to these small box discounters given the current economic environment today. So they become very prevalent in our retailing environment now. And then we've got off-price retailers. So as major discount stores slowly started scaling up, there kind of ended up being a new wave of off-price retailers. They moved in to kind of fill in that gap of ultra low price of really high volume. So these are stores that are going to sell merchandise, they're going to sell products bought at less than regular wholesale prices and then sold at less than a retailer. And off-price retailers can be found in all sorts of areas. So they can be found in the service sector, they can be found in electronics, food, clothing. So let's give some examples of some off-price retailers. So there are typically three primary types of off-price retailers. So we've got independents, we've got factory outlets, and we've got warehouse clubs. So let's go through these three different types. So off-price retailers. Independent off-price retailers are either independently owned or divisions of larger retail corporations. And most large off-price retailer operations are owned by bigger retail chains. So think of Ross, think of TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Home Goods. These are examples of off-price retailers. And then we've got our factory outlets. These are owned and operated by manufacturers, so the actual companies that produce the goods, and they normally carry the manufacturer's surplus. So, oops, we made too much, or we've got discontinued items, or we've got irregular goods. So companies like Gap, like Levi Strauss, like J. Crew, like Nordstrom. These are example of factory outlets. And sometimes multiple companies are all going to group together in a factory outlet mall. These are very common. So at these centers, there's going to be dozens of different outlet stores that are going to offer prices as much as like 50% off below the typical retail on a wide range of these surplus, discounted, or regular goods. So if you've ever been to a factory outlet mall, this is what that is. These are factory outlets, and they're a type of off-price retailer. And then our last kind of off-price retailer is our warehouse club. Sometimes you'll see this as wholesale clubs or membership warehouses. They sell a limited selection of brand name grocery items, appliances, clothings, and other types of goods, and they sell them at deep discounts to members who pay annual membership fees. So you have to be a member. You have to pay annual membership fees to be able to shop at these warehouse clubs. So examples of a warehouse club are Sam's Club, our Costco, our BJ's. These are all examples of these warehouse clubs. And again, you have to pay. You've got to be a member to be able to shop there. They actually check to make sure you're a member when you walk in and when you check out. So usually these warehouse clubs, and again, it's right in the name, a warehouse, they operate in these huge warehouse-like facilities, and they offer very few frills. Again, you are literally in a warehouse environment. In exchange for the very bare bones environment, they offer ultra low prices and surprise deals on selected branded merchandise. So again, warehouse clubs. And warehouse clubs have really grown rapidly in recent years. They appeal to low-income consumers that seek bargains on the bare bones products, but they also appeal to all kinds of customers shopping for a really wide range of goods, from the necessities that you need every day to more of the extravagances. And considered now that Costco is now the third largest retailer in the world, behind only Walmart and Amazon, that these warehouse clubs are becoming very, very popular, and they're really good at what they do. Okay, we are going to take a pause here for this video. We will continue with retailing in the next video, and I will see you soon. Thank you all for joining.